Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I am welcoming to the show on Monday the lovely and kind. I'm gonna throw kind in there, Manasa Garemella. Welcome to the show, Manasa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I'm really actually quite thrilled to be talking to you because we need more kindness in the world right now. Like there's a lot happening around the world, and it was quite nice to be coming into Monday and talking to you as the co-founder of Kind Life, which is a fast-growing beauty and wellness ecosystem platform originating in India, but obviously globally scaling, and it's focused on Gen Z consumers and global brands. And you kind of like blends that community content and commerce with AI-powered recommendations and has raised capital. You also just had your 4-year-old birthday party. I think you said that you had it over the weekend. So big congratulations because 4 years in, that's no small feat in terms of, when you start a business to now. And you also, when you booked in for the pod, I asked you what's one unique insight or lived experience that you would like to share when it comes to life leadership and or business. And you said that what the future of beauty and wellness looks like for the next gen. And what a time to be, talking about this because I would love to understand all your insights, knowing that I've got, two 15-year-old nieces, a 17-year-old niece and a 12 who's about to turn 13-year-old nephew, as well as a 15-year-old goddaughter. They are the next gen and they're what they're into now, and they're just, oh my gosh, the view on wellness that they have. I'm like, I never had that at that age. Anyway, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Manasa. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're living in a very different generation and a world that we grew up in, and we're all digitally connected, and we can even do this like this because we're all linked by something outside of how it was traditionally earlier. Yeah, the journey's been very exciting. Yes, we turned 4, and it feels like a lifetime, but I also feel like we're just getting started. So it's quite interesting. I think that the biggest difference that we see is that this is a generation that's digitally native.
Yeah.
If you have a 15-year-old in India in a small city is has the same amount of access to content, to creators, to culture as a 15-year-old sitting in Melbourne. And that really changes everything because what it means is that you have the trends from around the world, whether it's product discovery or even a meme that just finds its way onto your phone screens in no time. And I think that's how that this generation is discovering not only beauty, but I would say all lifestyle categories.
Yeah, amazing. How did you come to co-found Kind Life? Like, what was it? Like, have you always been fascinated in the next generation? Have you always been fascinated in beauty and wellness? Like, how did you, how did it come about?
Yeah, so I want to give a very deep answer, but the truth is that it's a very serendipitous how we started. I met my co-founders. One of my co-founders was running a very, very large, successful e-commerce, and my other co-founder and I were in her team. And we've known each other for over a decade. But when COVID happened, and just a little before COVID, I was working in the wellness space. I had an early start to what the next big trends are going to look like, and what the next what the opportunity is going to look like, the consumer opportunity. And when COVID happened, the first wave was all about Dalgona coffee and self-reflection and kind of re-looking at stuff. And I had just moved on from that, the role that I was at. And I remember talking to my co-founder. She was always a mentor, and she was the first call I had made towards the end of 2020. And I was pacing up and down my house and saying, this is what I want to do. And she said, even I'm thinking something. Do you want to come and,
Idea, collaborate.
yes, and and it was really interesting because my other co-founder and I used to work together in her team, but he didn't know that I was calling her, and I didn't know that he was meeting her because he was in a similar space. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. So he was in a similar space, and he was, had called her to talk to her about something, and she said, "Yeah, I'm also." No, no, no. So we kind of got together that way. But I think the common thing that we saw that, when we were coming out of COVID, everybody started looking for better for you products. There
Yeah.
was a lot of conversation around what does my label say? What kind of a cleaner am I getting in my house? To what kind of food I'm eating? And that kind of became the commonality where we saw that there were amazing brands that were out there and the consumer was ready, and but there wasn't a platform simplifying this discovery. And sorry, I'm gonna
I hate that when it happens, don't you? It's the worst. You can't
yeah, I
you want to
mean,
talk and all you want to do is clear your throat and you're
I
trying to
know,
hold it
I
on.
know,
Anyway,
I
so
know, I know. I know we're recording, but I also realized that I have a heads up. I'll have somebody ring the doorbell
that's
in
okay.
about
It's
15
totally
minutes.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good.
Um,
Anything
so
goes.
okay, great. Sorry, I should get some water. But anyway, so I was saying that where was I? Yeah, so we kind of and one of the big trends that we also saw was that India is the youngest country in the world. The average age is 28. We have
Really?
700, yeah, we have 700 million under the age who's Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So the potential that this consumer, and this is a digitally native consumer,
Yeah.
and one of the biggest difference is that for this generation, self-care is very key. They're a generation that for whom what are the products that I'm using, wellness being inside out, beauty is looked at very differently than any other generation in the past.
Mm.
And one of the early trends that we started seeing was the rise of Korean beauty. And that became a big, big opportunity for us. And as we scaled, we started bringing in Korean beauty, expanding our portfolio of Korean beauty, Japanese beauty. And about a year ago, we also realized that, there were brands that were looking into coming into India and really tapping in the potential of how large India is. But there wasn't there wasn't an easy there wasn't a path and a partner who could navigate them. So we launched another vertical of our business called Kind Box, which is our B2B2C vertical, where we bring in brands exclusively into India and we manage them and end to end manage them, because I think it's not just about launching the brand, it's also about building a brand story for the consumer. So now, while we are Korea and Japan has been an early start to our to the way that we've looked at the global markets. We're now working with the Australian High Commission. We're working with the British High Commission. We're working with the US Embassy. We're getting in French brands into India. So the idea is that how do you really bring all these brands into India and build for this generation?
And it's also, I think you mentioned to me when we caught up the other week, you said it's also making it easy for young women in particular to shop. Is that right? Like that's kind of part of what your platform is and the ability to access all these beautiful and amazing different products. But how do you make it easy? And that was something that, I understood from your platform as well. Is that right?
Yes, so I think AI. We started the conversation with AI, and we proudly call ourselves an AI native company. AI is not a layer that we've added on top, but it's actually built into everything that we're building. Whether it's how you discover, it's how you get recommendations, it's how you get a personalized routine. So if you go on the app, the kindlife app, you can use a face scanner. It'll tell you exactly the routine that you should follow. What are the concerns that you have? What are the products that will work for you given where you are, what your skin age is, etc. Then we have Kiki.ai. Kiki is a little bird, and Kiki.ai that really simplifies it for
I
you.
love
So
that name.
yeah, it's I kind of talk about Kiki like she's like sitting right next to me, but I mean
It
I'm
feels like a
uh,
friend, a really nice like friend. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And Kiki.ai is helping you find just go, and whether it's on WhatsApp or it's on the app, you can say, hey, listen, I'm going to Goa, and what are the sunscreens that I should use? Should I use, a certain type of sunscreen? This is my skin type, etc. And it makes it really easy. for you to be getting the recommendations. And I think, we built that out end to end, discovery, how you search for it, how you get a personalized recommending everything across the board, truly building a layer of AI there.
I love it. You also said that I've got a few questions. I know we're on a speed podcast today in a good way, but it could because it is Monday morning for you. But you said the average age in your office is 24. And I want to talk about that, but because I want to talk about as part of this is that, you mentioned before that these younger generations are more interested in self-care than ever.
Yes.
You've got this younger age group in the average age 24 in your office. You've got an intern who's 14. What are you seeing? What is it that why are they so much more invested in self-care than we ever were, at such a young age? And yeah, what's it like having this sort of these generations in your office? Because it must just like you've got all this lived experience, this wise experience as well, and then you've got these younger ones. They're probably teaching you stuff about beauty that you
100%. 100%. Yeah. I think it's very interesting because, what's happened is till now, I think the biggest difference for this generation is that they are a multi-dimensional generation. What that means is that they have varied interests, and all of those interests have the ability to be monetized. So, they'll have a day job that they come into work, they'll do a 10 to 6 in office, and then they go back and they're creating content for their own page. 83% of Gen Z identifies as an influencer and a creator.
wow.
Now, this doesn't mean that that they are not there. Everybody's sitting on 100, 200,000 followers. No, that's not what the metric is. But the fact is that they become they're creating micro communities, and they're leveraging the power of the influence and the creator world. And so they'll do that. Then they also have a freelance projects that they'll pick up, almost like a gig economy world. And so for each of their interests, they have a way to be able to monetize it. So they have the income stream coming in. They have, and also if you look at it, I'm so sorry. Can I just get a glass of
Yeah,
water?
go for it. Go for it. Take your
I'm
time.
so sorry. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, no worries.
30, I'll have.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm going to start from the beginning for this answer, if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, where was I? Losing track of.
We were talking about the generation. You've got the average age in your office is 24. You've got an intern at 14. You were talking about the stats around self-care. You talked around this multi-dimensional generation.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that Gen Z, I think you said 87% are,
80% of them are creators. Yeah.
yeah,
So
influencers.
yeah, they're influencers, and we have a rising GDP per capita. We have a generation that's spending 3 to 4 hours just on reels and short form content. So with digitization and internet penetration, phone has pretty much become the place where they're consuming, when they can create, and then they can also discover. And I think that changed. So number one, as digitization wave happened, this generation was born into an easier platform and
Yeah.
an easier distribution, a different distribution and a media mix. Number one. Number two is also that I think that as they are, we were talking about the multi-income, the multi-dimensional. I think they are also the first generation that's, because that is becoming higher disposable incomes for them, right? They are like, okay, I'm not going to buy, I don't need a house or a car. I can take a cab and I can stay in a rented place, but I want to spend on experiences. I
Yeah.
want to spend on what works for me.
Yeah.
So I will save up and go for a Taylor Swift concert, and I want to get my hands on, this amazing beauty product because it works for me. 60 to 70% of India now has a 3 to 6 step routine. And what that means is that the products that you use in the morning and at night are different. And for them, that's how much they're spending on beauty and personal care has gone up from about $17 to about $30. So they're like, okay, I need the 10 minutes at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, where I'm going to take care of my skin. I'm going to see what are the products that I'm putting. I'm going to take out time to eat, healthy. I'm going to eat more, protein supplements or collagen. And then I'm going to go and work out because that's important for me. And everything else that I'm doing can work around this. And I think that that's a fundamental difference of how the earlier
Oh,
generations used to look
totally.
at it. So that's been a lot. So it's a combination of how cheap data became over the years, the internet penetration, rising GDP per capita, just being digitally aware, digitally connected, and born into the internet, and having this higher disposable income that allows them to be making that
Mm.
decision. So yeah, I think that's on the consumer side. As somebody who works with them day in and day out, it's really fascinating. I think they're almost relearning, unlearning everything that I have learned till now. Because they're a generation that will say, "Hey, listen, I'm not available. This is this is something that doesn't work for me." They have an opinion that they come with, and it's very different. It's really like, I was talking to somebody the other day who was a colleague of mine who was like, how are they not scared? And I think that's what it is. They're not.
Well,
They're
confident.
confident, exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, there's a lot to learn every day. But yeah, so you're right. Our youngest intern spent, she was about 14, 15. She came in the summer. She was at school and she said, listen, I want to do a project for my school. Can I come in? And I said, yeah. And it was the amazing. I got an email. It was super professional. And I was like, when I was
Yeah,
14,
100%. Oh my gosh, there's so many
there
things.
was no way that I
Yeah.
would be, that articulate, and, it was just a bit diffident and all of that. But this just walks in and she's like, I know what this is. And I think that really rubs off.
Yeah, so it's almost like this lived experience because I mean you're older, like we're older, but they look up to you for like they've got all these worries of the world. I think they've got a lot more worry than we ever did at that age, and you have to talk to them and explain, just you don't need to worry about that at this time of but I guess again back to what's going on globally, politically, everything in the world right now, like it's pretty heavy in Australia as we spoke just before, based on what happened yesterday and. For me, it's just almost like seeing that we weren't as exposed to that back in the day. So they're more exposed to a lot of things that we were never exposed to, I guess. So they're having to grow up faster in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and like you say, that self-care and watching us because, like I was even thinking about and jumping around a bit here, but your 4-year-old birthday, right? Once upon a time, and not suggesting that this is what you do, but there's no doubt there would have been, probably a few drinks, alcohol, like, when you think about parties and nowadays, the stats in decline of alcohol at, like parties, like, it's fascinating, these generations, they're not into it. They'd rather go, I go and do yoga or whatever on a Friday.
What's also interesting is that the value set that they have um, holds for everything across. So it could be for a brand, it could be for their favorite artist, it could be for an influencer, and they hold the same set of a shared value, and authenticity. So if you're coming across as inauthentic, then they'll be able to see it,
Yes.
and it's not what works for them.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Because they do see it. Which takes me to my next point around you talked also around it's all about kindness in the action you take. And there was something really interesting when you mentioned that a while ago, and I want to come back to your company being called Kind Life. How did how did kind
What happened?
pardon?
Sorry, I'm really sorry. Is there background noise? Because I mean, there's
No?
No? Okay, I'll just give a heads up in any case. One second, please. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
I realized.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yes, please. Let's go.
So I was talking about how you put kindness into the action you take, and the reason I asked this is because you did talk about it, and obviously kind life. How did the kind piece come about with regards to in your business and also in you're a big believer in the action we take. As am I. We need more kindness and love in the world, very much so at this point in time.
Yes. So, as I said, we were coming out of COVID, and there was a lot of conversation around, just uh, thinking, the self-care became very important, and it manifests differently for different people. And one of the conversations that we also had was about how, kindness is actually in the actions that you take.
Mm.
If somebody falls on the road, you go to them and you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That's being nice." But if you tell them, "Hey, listen, I'm going to take you to the doctor. I'm calling in an ambulance or something like that," it's an action that you're taking, right? So that's truly what kindness is, and it is different for different people. So one of the things that we keep talking about, and we call it a kind move, is that if you did something today that was better than what you did yesterday, whether it's small or big, it doesn't matter. It should be celebrated.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with while it's great to be on the internet, etc., there's just this constant thing of, oh, if you're not living 100% this kind of a life, or you're not living 100% that kind of a life, are you even, showing up? But I
Mm.
think that's a bit unfair.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit unfair also in putting too much pressure on you to be perfect and to be
Yeah.
a certain way. For me, it might mean just getting an 8 hour sleep, and for you, it might be just waking up in the morning and going for yoga. So,
Yeah.
and for somebody else, it might be just the 10 minutes at the end of the day when you do your makeup, when you do your skincare. So, there's space for all of that, and that's truly where we came from. And I think the world can really do with more of this.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Tell me, how are you kind to yourself when it comes to being an entrepreneur? And, there must be days where and I know even with myself, like it's a kind of, I think about kindness and grace, like when you are working around the clock and you're tired and your cognitive load is completely full. What are some of your kindness routines that you ensure you do? Because it's a lot, practice what we preach, right? And how do you make sure that your wellness is your wellness cup is filled also?
Yeah, I think I have to start by saying that I have an exceptional support system. I have two co-founders who see me on days that are just not a very pretty sight. On days where the reflection and the doubt and all the what is happening, of the stress of everything manifests differently. And I think that we kind of they hold me together. So let me first start off with that. I'm truly grateful. I also have an amazing family and friends, and my girlfriends on WhatsApp who pretty much are my cheerleaders forever.
So
And
important.
I pardon me.
So important. So important.
Yes, I know. I mean, I have my girls on my speed dial, and it could be on a Monday afternoon or it could be on a Sunday morning, and I'm really like pacing up and down and saying, "Hey, listen, I don't know." They'll be like, "No, you've got this, you've got this." So but I think one of the things that the way that I'm kind to myself is also acknowledging that. Okay, it's a bad day. Okay, it was tough. We don't give ourselves enough credit and space
No.
to be able to say
Mm.
that, hey, listen, it is the way that it is. And um, I'm a strong believer that you come back and it's over, and then you start the next day, and it's a black brand new slate.
Yeah, I love that. The blank canvas.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a blank canvas.
yeah. Manasa, final two questions for you. Given you're working so intimately and closely with these younger generations, Alpha, Gen Z, you've got these people you've got these great people in your business that not only are working with you, but they're also like almost like great research for the products and for the ecosystem that you're building and scaling. What would you say are the top three, or what do you think the future of leadership looks like, knowing intimately this generation? What would be three things that you think the future of leadership requires?
I think the future of leadership is collaborative. It's you work with, it's not one against another. And I think that's something that we hold very strongly as a value internally. It's not, if somebody else is acing it in your domain, I think it's great. And that's what needs to be done, number one. Number two, I think the future of leadership is also very different in terms of what drives this generation. I think that earlier generations were it was a linear path of how they
Yeah,
would
it
grow.
was very, yeah,
And not only internally in the companies, but also like, how you are going to be, just the kind of money you're going to earn, the kind of roles that you're going to have, the kind of jobs you're going to do. It was fairly set. And I think that's going to change, right? There's going to be different career paths. And what drives this generation is going to be very different. So as
mm,
leaders, we have to adapt to that,
mm,
saying that, okay, it's not just going to be it has to be a function of many things that really drive and motivate this generation. So there's a little bit of unlearning as leaders for us
yeah,
there as well.
yeah,
And I think that we need more, um, you know, uh, a different version of what leadership looks like. I don't think that, I think kindness needs to be built into that.
yeah.
You can.
Kindness with soul. I think for me, it's about like having the soul, having that kindness, being consciously aware, still being able to be perform, like have performance, but having the ability to have the presence and have the purpose. That for me is what this younger generation is looking for, and the ability to lead. I know that you've got to get to your day, and thank you for your time. What would be one? Oh, can you give us like a what would be one piece, or what would be a beauty wellness tip, or what would be one piece of advice around, and with kindness interconnected within it, that you would share with everybody for this week?
Wow. You were talking earlier about the market, and I think one thing that I am most excited about is that it is actually the fastest growing beauty market in the world, largest beauty market in the world. And that's I'm sitting with the generation that's driving it, and a business for an opportunity. So that keeps me really excited and going through the week anyway. But if I had a tip to someone, I would say that just um, take out the 10 minutes for yourself. And I would just say that. I would say that be um, take out the 10 minutes and do your skincare routine, beauty routine, whatever works for you. Just be present when you're doing it, because for me that really helps.
Totally. Be kind. Like I think what you're
Be
saying there is
kind,
just
yeah, and
take
don't
10 minutes.
forget to wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
I mean,
My gosh.
that's
Yeah, I know. Oh
goes
my God.
without saying. But I
So
think I
true.
think it would be that. I think just be present when you're. For me, I think it's something that's bringing a lot of joy at the end of the day. Putting on the music that I want and just
I
really,
agree.
take out. It's just 10 minutes.
I know.
But I would say that, and it's a Monday, and I think anyway towards the end of the year, everyone is always super reflective, and it's been. Um, we have an exciting year ahead as well.
Yeah, amazing. I was going to say what's next, but that's very exciting. How do we find out more about Kind Life? How do we find out more? Yeah, how do we find out more about your platform, and how do we find out more about you?
Yeah, you can follow us on kindlife.in on Instagram, on YouTube. We have actually launched something very exciting. So please, it's a not so subtle plugin. We've launched the first Indian Korean drama in a micro drama series.
Oh, I love
So
it.
yes, it's very exciting. So check us out there. You can follow me on Instagram at Manasa G. That's my Instagram handle. And for a lot of the unfiltered takes on what's happening, especially with Gen Z, you can find that. And follow us, like, share, subscribe, and all of
I
that.
love that. Yeah, thank you.
Download the Kind Life app and yeah, find what's trending around the world.
I love it. Thank you so much, Manasa. It's been wonderful chatting with you and
Bye.
yes,
Thank
spreading
you
that
so much.
kind message. And look, hopefully I'll get you back on the pod next year and we'll see where you're at in a year's time and
Yes,
what trends you have and to share with us all. And yeah, thank you.
100%. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this
Take
and
care.
having
No,
take
thank
care.
you. Take care.